Hey, welcome to the podcast. We're the Fantasy Sports Help newsletter. You can go to our site right now and subscribe. We're only running it's for $1.99 a month, and you can get a full month free. So it's a great deal.
And you get an idea of what we offer before actually becoming a
because you can check out our articles or our Twitter because we're on at FSH Sports.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. We're updating to the minute.
We're doing a lot of baseball
all the news
right
and
now.
information you're going to need.
Football's coming soon. That's why this is happening. This is actually about football right here. This is our first football podcast.
Yeah, and I think the best place to start is with quarterbacks because that's what everyone's always most concerned about, the divas.
Yeah, everyone wants to know about them. All the Cams, all the Bradys, all these weirdos. What do you think? Cam Newton's outfits are going to be like this year?
Well, he had that one where he looked like Mr. Peanut.
And then like the Mad Hatter look.
He had a fucking monocle in 2018. We're dressing like steampunk. I don't know.
So if he did Mr. Peanut last year, you think he's gonna do the California Raisins this year? I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out.
Goodell's staying away from that one.
Goodell wouldn't touch that. Yeah. So we're going through our QB rankings. So we're gonna do like tiers.
And they're also ranked in order of how they should be overall at the same time. Also,
right. It's kind of
So we'll go number one, and then we'll get into it. If you want to go with yours first.
And this is early rankings. Hey. People. We can even see people get hurt.
June 4th
training camp.
June 24th is the date of this.
Yes,
so
we're doing this early.
But it's people are doing drafts right now.
Yeah, we saw a lot of interest in mock drafts and everything. So
we did way too many mock drafts last night when we should have been doing baseball shit. But
it's in the season. It's happening. It's starting. People are starting to think about football, and I get it.
Because no one cares about baseball.
Well, yeah, let's face it.
And even less people care about basketball. Especially after the Warriors fucking won again. It was such a letdown.
Well, exactly. You want to talk about interesting sports? There probably is no other one more than
but
football.
Right now we talked about everything but football on the football podcast.
Yeah,
let's get into number one.
Number one, I have Aaron Rodgers.
I do too. I don't think you can dispute that shit. You can maybe make an argument for Russell Wilson because he finished number one, but Aaron Rodgers wasn't healthy. So
I totally agree. He's also, I'd say the best talent in the league still, and he's not.
And don't forget, he still is mobile. He's still giving you rushing yards.
Which part of me always hates that because that always gives his injuries.
And the collarbone. You want to talk about chronic? He's had that injury for 2 out of the last 3 to 4 years. So.
And we talked about players like I know with baseball, we're talking about Harper, how he's a guy that just works himself really hard and gets hurt. That's what Rodgers does too. He's a player that goes a little too hard and should maybe change his game a little bit.
Same thing with Russell Wilson. He's always dealing with. Yeah.
Look at Brady, how he never did that, and he knows to not do that.
Well, speaking of Brady, where do you have him?
I got Brady at number 2. I know this is a little different for you.
I have Russell Wilson at number 2. So maybe you want to talk about why you have him, and I'll make my argument against it.
Well, he's Tom Brady. He's Trump supporter, the Great White Hope. So.
Yeah, but let's get into real reasons other than off.
No, I still just think Tom Brady still just has.
You're not worried about his age.
No, I still think he's really.
You're not
good.
worried about the Edelman suspension or the.
I don't think it matters.
The lack of receivers now with Brandon Cooks being gone.
I believe in Belichick in that organization, and
but
it's not
Belichick
even all.
Can't make passes.
Look at even in the past, the receivers list hasn't ever always been super great.
They did sign some people. We were looking at it last night. They got
what is it? It's the Eagle.
They got Willie Snead.
They got Willie Snead, and then who's the Eagle that they picked up from?
Let's just give it a quick once over. We do have internet.
Yeah, we got internet connection, but
Malcolm Mitchell, obviously, kind of a unknown, but I think he can be okay as whatever you're for. But okay, they got Philip Dorsett from the Colts last year in a trade. Kenny Britt, Cordell Patterson, not the worst in the world, and they still have Chris Hogan, obviously. Oh, Jordan Matthews.
That's who I'm talking about.
So they are pretty deep. Some of these people are also going to get cut.
Actually, I think Jordan Matthews is going to do really well there.
Look at how many running backs they have right now: Sonny Michel, Rex Burkhead, James White, Mike Gillisley, Jeremy Hill, and Brandon Bolden.
You know what's interesting?
Jesus Christ.
So Chris Hogan and Jordan Matthews are both former. Okay, all right, never mind. I thought they were playing in a similar league in college. No, they weren't. But yeah, they're both talented receivers. They have a good roster.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and I'm still going to keep Brady at 3. But
I got Russell Wilson at 3, so it's
because Brady doesn't give you anything as far as mobility.
So I got Wilson at 3. You got him at 3. You got Brady.
Yeah,
at 3.
it's the top 3. You can kind of shuffle it how you want.
That's kind of what I feel like.
But when it gets to 4, it's when it starts to become.
Well, I could see this guy
debatable.
Watson.
I have it at my 4 also. I just think his average points per game were like at 40. You know,
I mean, I know
if he could do half that, he's gonna be good.
there was people
He
ranking.
doesn't have to do that.
I was looking at, to make my list. I looked around just to see what everyone else is doing. There's some people putting Watson, where we got him at 4 right here. There's some people putting him at 1. There's some people saying he's gonna be 1.
Because if you look at his average games per plate, it was like 35 plus per game. That's insane.
Yeah, he pretty much won me.
He only had 5
year.
weeks of production, if that. So, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is, one of the best receivers, if not the best.
And then number 5 looks like we both have Breeze here.
It's just hard to write him off. I know he's older, but look at what's around him. The only thing I worry about is they're becoming more of a run-first team with Ingram and Kamara. I feel like they want to move away from Breeze having to throw so much.
Yeah. No, yeah, I can definitely see that.
And do you ever think about this? Like, you know how pitchers have innings limits and, like, they put, like, a lot of stress on their arms? Do you think that matters for a quarterback like that? The amount of throws you make every year?
For Breeze, it obviously hasn't.
I'm
the
just
dude's
thinking,
old.
like,
He's not young.
There's a lot of mileage on that arm.
And it's still good. That aren't it showed it last year. I actually thought last year would be the year that Breeze had like a big drop off, and that didn't happen.
Also, the Saints signed Cam Meredith, which is a kind of an interesting ad from the Bears. 6'4" receiver. They have Ted Ginn as the fast guy. They have Michael Thomas. They have Coleman. Fleener sucks.
It's gonna be Watson, right?
Cam Meredith is a wide receiver.
But no, I'm talking about tight
end.
end.
Benjamin Watson is a good late round tight end if you're trying to take a flyer and wait. So that's tier 1.
That's our tier 1. That's our top 5.
Now let's get into tier 2.
This is gonna be going from 6 to 10. So our tier 1 is 1 through 5, and our tier 2 is 6 through 10. So there's the top 10. So mine I have, which I guess it's probably high. I've seen this guy right here even higher on other lists, but I have Cam Newton at 6.
You have higher than I do. I don't really trust that offense, and I don't really trust Greg Olsen that much. But for 6, I have Carson Wentz, and I know people are worried about the injury, but that offense is really stacked.
Yeah,
they have a lot of running backs that he can throw to instead of just being so dependent on Aguilar and Jeffrey and Ertz. They have a lot of other people you don't really know about, like Clement. And Ajayi can catch it a little bit. So,
well, I got Carson Wentz only 1 rank lower, but I definitely think.
And also, Wentz is mobile. He gives you rushing yards too.
Well, again, he's another person.
Not as much as he will because of the injury, but still.
Well, that's the thing with Wentz. I was saying this to somebody, like he's coming off a knee ligament tear. No one comes back the same or better. He's going to be a little.
He'll never be as mobile as he used to be now, which might lead to him not being as good of a passer because he can't get rid of the ball or throw on the run as well as he used to.
It's something to look at because I've heard differentiating reports with that, because it's like I've heard people say, he might even be better the fact that he doesn't have to start doing that stuff, and then he could just kind of focus on his pocket game, which has been decent.
I feel like most mobile quarterbacks eventually become more of a pocket passer. Like Russell Wilson's kind of doing that.
Yeah, he's gotten better at it too.
And then you see what happened to his production by doing that. He's not so dependent on being a mobile quarterback. But
so I got
you have
7.
7. I have Kirk Cousins 7 because they got Thielen, Diggs.
They do have a good team.
Rudolph, Dalvin Cook for a whole year. Latavius Murray's still there. There's a lot, and their offensive line is pretty strong. Kirk Cousins, I'm a little worried that maybe the Redskins were just a good system for him, and his stats might be bloated because of it. But
yeah, that could be the case. But yeah, it's hard to tell there. I think it's going to be a whole new season for the Redskins. I think the Redskins have a good chance to do good stuff with Alex Smith.
We'll get to him later.
But with Minnesota, it's a great team to go into. You know what I mean?
The other thing that you have to worry about too is if Minnesota's going to be up a lot in games, they're not going to really ask him to throw much. So that might be something to think about and be a little concerned with. Because Washington was always just throwing it down all the time, and he gets so much garbage time production.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the case.
So at 8, we pretty much have this person at the same spot almost, but you have Stafford at 8. Yeah. I have him at 9.
Yeah, it's really close. Our lists are different.
Some people different. Then you basically can put him one or slot on the same. But Stafford is just so safe to me.
Yeah, I think he's always a consistent guy. That's why
just basically on volume, they're always going to make him throw it a lot. And he's got Jones, he's got Tate. I'm not sure who their tight end is at this point. They have Galladay. Riddick is a very good.
They got Galladay. They got Marvin Jones.
Who's the tight end now that Ebron's on the Colts?
It's Luke Wilson, and he was on the Saints last year.
He's not bad. He's always kind of okay with Seattle.
Yeah,
so
Seattle.
He could be all right as like a blocking guy who can do a little bit. I don't know. That's weird. They got rid of Ebron and didn't really have much to replace him with.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just don't value the position as much in there.
You know what I could see them doing? Because Galladay's like 6'5", maybe he'll sort of just fill that role.
Did you say Golden Tate too? They got.
Yeah, no, I mentioned Golden Tate.
Okay, good.
And Jones. But at 8, I have Cam Newton. You had him at 6, so it's not a huge drop off. I just worry about with Cam Newton his accuracy. He's just never been a very good.
I'm not a fan of Cam.
Real life
the
passer.
reason I have him there is because of fantasy stuff, and he's a runner.
He's a better fantasy player than he is a real life player.
That's why I got him a little higher than you, I think, because of that.
Yeah, the only thing with that is I don't like overvaluing the running element because one, if they want him to move away from that so he's not injured all the time, and two, just it can be a little bit unreliable game to game. I mean, what if one game he gets 20 rushing yards, another he gets 100, another he gets 40, another he gets 80? It's hard to kind of just bank on that kind of production. It's nice for the floor though.
Yeah, exactly. So at 9, I got Garoppolo.
I have Stafford,
and we were talking about good Stafford.
Yeah, you had. I have. Well, this kind of relates.
Yeah, we can keep going.
You have Cousins at 10. I have in 7. I have Garoppolo at 10.
Yeah,
but let's quickly go over Garoppolo.
I get why you're ranking Cousins higher with being on such a good offense.
But thinking about it now, I'm a little bit concerned of the volume not being there now that I think about it, because the Redskins always ask them to throw a lot more than Minnesota probably will.
I think the Niners just looking, they looked really good with Garoppolo.
Well, they have Garcon back finally.
They have
win. George Kittle, who's got some upside at tight end. Jerick McKinnon's a very good receiver, and so is Matt Breida. So they actually have a decent offense.
Yeah. And then of course, going through there, I like even Jerick McKinnon is going to get some work on the passing game. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to happen.
I'm a little interested on what other receivers they have other than those two. Also,
I'm not seeing any standout names besides from Garcon and Goodwin.
Oh, it's pretty barren.
Yeah, but I do like Kittle. I do like their running back situation, and I do like Garoppolo.
Trent Taylor, I've never heard of him. Dante Pettis, never heard of him. Like these
Maxwell McCaffrey, you know him.
If Garcon gets hurt again, Garoppolo's gonna have nothing to pass to,
and it's a chance.
Yeah, so it's actually a little sketchy now that I'm looking at it, but that's why he's 10 for me and not 6 or something.
So that's our tier 1 through 2. Our next podcast is going to be about, our more tiers. We're going to kind of keep continuing this podcast chain. Before we get going, we're just going to kind of do some little stuff like this. Here or there, we'll talk about some more quarterbacks, some other rankings.
We have 6 tiers total.
Yeah, so we're going to get through the list.
Well, do you want to maybe do the third tier, so then we can do 4, 5, and 6?
Yeah, we can go through. We'll go through to tier 3.
Tier 3 is where we're starting to get, in a 12-team league, some of these people are not rostered.
This is 11 through 16 in our rankings.
So in a 12-team league, you're obviously not going to be rostering people that are ranked 16 because there's only 12 teams in the league.
So both of us have the exact same 11, which I think he really is a guy who's just outside the top 10.
I think he's fringe,
too. He
could
be a top 10.
The only reason I worry about it is because of that Sarkisian guy. I don't trust that guy at all.
Who's the rookie they added as a receiver?
Calvin Ridley.
Now,
from Alabama.
And then you got looks fucking solid.
Julio Jones, if he can ever stay healthy. Mohamed Sanu is still there.
Still good.
Austin Hooper is a good tight end.
Yep.
Devontae Freeman catches it. Coleman catches it. I mean, Matt Ryan's got so many people. And he's better in domes. They play the Saints. That's an extra home game almost.
It's a good offensive line, too. It's a great team. They're going to be good. The Falcons will be good.
And also, Matt Ryan's got the track record. He's put up some mediocre seasons, but he was the MVP for that team 2 years ago.
It's Football City, too. They like it down. Like, Atlanta loves the Falcons, and you can tell they got a good fan base.
So to me, this is where the rankings start to get sketchy.
This is where
this is where it starts to get a little bit weird.
Well, there's a lot of people that I see you have some people higher that I actually I don't even want I have in tier 4 that wouldn't even be in this podcast.
Yeah, I know. Tier 3 and 4 are starting to get blurry and weird.
Not really. There's only one difference. We'll get to it. So let's go through.
You have
Matt Ryan.
You have at 12.
I have Goff.
Yeah, I have Mariota because to me, Mariota's a little bit more proven.
I was high on Mariota last year, and he didn't do exactly what I wanted, so I could see him doing better this year. Sometimes it works.
Also, you got to keep in mind with Goff, he lost Sammy Watkins, but he gained Brandon Cooks,
which is I'd say a little better upgrade.
Yeah. And they still have Robert Woods there. They still have Cooper Kupp there.
They still have a good.
They have a couple decent tight ends, and Bigsby and I forget the other guy's
a good
name.
line that can, and then they have Gurley.
And Gurley's obviously a great receiving running back, which they finally started to let him be. Jeff Fisher forced him to be fucking purely like a in between the tackles runner, and completely limited his upside. That's why Jeff Fisher is not a coach anymore.
I love how they're being run right now. I love that, like what I see with their offense. So I'm high on Goff.
But as far as Mariota, I just want to say like Corey Davis can emerge. Rashard Matthews is a solid receiver. Delaney Walker's a great tight end. Mm-hmm. They signed Dion Lewis to be a receiving running back, and they got rid of what's his name? The guy from the Cowboys, DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray to me was just kind of weighing their offense down more than he helped it. So I think they're going to be a lot more like aggressive than they've been in the past.
Yeah, with me picking Goff there, I actually, just talking about how Ryan's a fringe top 10, I think Goff's a fringe top 10.
Well, I mean, you do forget he was the first overall pick, and I mean...
Yeah. This is like, and we got Wentz, the same draft. He's above here. He's in our... You
remember we were talking about how, like, when quarterbacks go 1 or 2, one of them busts and the other one doesn't? Who's the bust and who's not?
Well, it doesn't seem like this is the case here. They're both pretty good. I mean, you got to think also
It's early.
Eli and Rivers did that, too. It's happened before where there's 2 good ones.
Yeah, but they didn't go 1 and 2 overall in the draft, did they?
Yeah.
I thought it was like
Rivers
4.
No, Eli went first to the Chargers,
and then they.
I think it was 1 and 2, and then the Giants got Rivers.
Yeah, it'd be weird to have Phil Rivers be there. I don't think they would have won championships with him.
I think they would have done really something like the Chargers did. You know what I mean? I think they would have been a lot.
They've been
like
really
Chargers.
good on offense and never won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would have been really similar to what Rivers did with the Giants.
I think the good thing about Eli is he's not risky. Even though he looks like a sloppy idiot most of the time, when it matters, like when the games matter, he tightens up and doesn't make big mistakes.
We'll get to Eli later.
Of course, we're going to get to Eli. Fucking homer pick that you made.
He's not in our 1 through 3 though.
No,
we could tell you that now.
We'll let you. We're not homers because of that.
Yeah, I mean,
you had Eli 1, and I told you not to do that.
What? No, I did not have Eli at 1.
So 13, who do you have?
At 13, I have Phil Rivers.
Reliable.
Speaking of
the Mormon stuff, the Mormon magician.
He's actually. He's actually not on your tier 3. I see that he's not even there.
I'm a little worried about.
He's your one guy that's not on your tier 3. That's on mine, and then I have one guy that's not on my tier 3.
You can make your argument for Rivers, and I'll make mine against it.
I just think Rivers is a consistent, solid player.
He is.
He always puts up his stats. He's definitely boring, and he's getting older, but it seems like it's not happening to him as much as Eli and as much as Ben Roethlisberger.
All right, well, to me, I'm not worried about Rivers as much as I'm worried about the people around him because he's lost Hunter Henry for the year. Who's his tight end?
That is a good
Gates.
point. Yeah,
they're going to bring him out of retirement. Keenan Allen, we've seen in the past, he cannot make it through a full season. Tyrell Williams, he hasn't shown more than that little bit in his first year. And then, Melvin Gordon? I mean, I feel like the bottom's going to fall out with that guy every season because his average per carry is always so mediocre. He's got an injury history, and I don't know if I fully want to invest in that offense.
I think they're going to get it done with players that aren't even big. I think that's the kind of thing that Rivers is. He's going to get his touchdowns.
You saw what that Austin Eckler guy did just in the limited kind of time he got.
I can see 30 touchdowns from Rivers. That's all I'm going to say. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking at with him. I see 30 touchdowns.
I have Goff at 13, which you have him at 12. I have 13. I don't think we really need to get more into that. We've kind of covered Goff. I mean,
And so 14, I got Mariota. Kind of same. Only a few off from where you got him.
Yeah, we both have 14 is a little bit
you at 12
different than yours. Yeah.
For 14, you have.
I have Patrick Mahomes, but you don't even have him in this tier. I just think with the addition of Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Hunt, Spencer Ware, there's so much there. And Andy Reid's proven he's been able to make Alex Smith productive.
I mean, I'll give you a little spoiler.
Patrick Mahomes is a lot more talented than Alex Smith was.
I'll give you a little spoiler alert. He's just outside my tier 3. And the only reason I have him there is because
the unknown,
the question mark. Exactly.
What has he ever? He's never played a single game in the NFL yet.
That's why I'm thinking. Like, I was looking at it, and I'm like, can I put a guy I've never seen in the NFL in a tier 3? That's why I was thinking. Like, I'm just gonna put him right outside. Though, I know he's got great
Deshaun
stuff.
Watson played 5 weeks,
but we saw it. You know what I mean? We got to see it. I mean, it looked really good.
Also, the hype scares me off a little bit. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah, it does. It's definitely something you don't want to have to.
I don't want to pay for somebody's upside.
That's why
I want to pay for the floor.
I know you're talking about Mariota. I like him for that. I feel like he was hyped last year, and this year he's like a little bit quiet on people. He's quiet and low on the radar. I like him.
A lot of times I've had good seasons because of that. because like Matt Ryan, everyone was down on him, and then I bought into it, and it hit really hard. So sometimes you do get that like post hype kind of sleeper shit, even with established people.
And then so next to my list, it's just kind of
15.
funny. My 15 and my 16 are almost like we're pretty much the same thing here. I have Ben Roethlisberger, then I have Andrew Luck, and then you have Andrew Luck, and then Ben.
Yeah,
Roethlisberger.
I mean, to me, the issue and why they're so low is injury stuff. Roethlisberger has he's older and he has the ability to miss 5 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
At any time because of the way he plays, and Andrew Luck. I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on with them, and
Yeah,
I feel like they're not giving us enough information on him, on where he's at in his rehab.
but when just going back to history, when he was playing, he was fucking great. So I think
I know, but
you
think
gotta
about this
put him in.
last year. Remember, we drafted him thinking he was going to miss maybe a week.
Yeah, well they
What the
didn't.
fuck happened? He misses the whole year. Like the Colts did not give us enough information at all going into the draft.
Well, in the end, hey, they don't fucking have to.
I know, but
Yeah,
as
I mean-
a fantasy owner, I can't fucking deal with that.
No, as a
I
fantasy
can't
owner, it
draft him in the
sucks,
6th round again and have him miss the whole year.
It's looking very good for Luck to, it's seemingly like he's gonna play the first week.
People do forget though. He was a top 5 quarterback.
That's what I mean. He's a top 5
That doesn't go
quarterback
away.
at one point.
Like that
so-
upside never goes away. T.Y. Hilton is still there.
And we're talking about.
Wait, hold on. Who are the
Colts.
others?
The Colts aren't a good team, so they're gonna be down. They're gonna be down in games. They're gonna have to be passing a lot, and
Who are the
Andrew
other
Luck's
receivers they have? Because they
stacks
got
of
rid of
yards.
Philip Dorsett.
yeah, because I was looking. Dorsett's on. Yeah, he's on New England. New England really knows how to pick up.
Oh shit!
New England really knows how to pick up depth.
Yeah, look at the Colts receivers: Chester Rogers, Ryan Grant.
Okay,
That's
TY.
it.
So
That's
they're
it.
looking pretty raw.
Oh wait, but they do have Jack Doyle
Those
and
are right.
Eric Ebron, so they might be going like. You remember when the
They're trying to go tight end heavy.
remember when the Patriots had Aaron Hernandez and
Yeah,
Gronkowski?
they're trying to do double tight end because those are both guys I would like out there.
So I don't know. Should we give like a quick recap of what we went over?
You know what's funny? That's actually I kind of almost maybe. Well, we can maybe always rethink our list, but
Oh, it's going to be changing. If somebody gets hurt, we obviously have to adjust it and stuff like
I'm
that.
almost definitely kind of a little low on Luck, and I'd almost maybe move up Mahomes. And I'm looking at this to 16.
And I'm thinking of moving Cam Newton up because, like you said, the rushing stuff just makes the floor
It's always
so
there.
level. And if Greg Olsen can be what he was in the past, with the emergence of Funches, with the emergence of McCaffrey, and the addition of C.J. Anderson,
Yeah, that's
know,
a good. Yeah, it's funny how they're so.
they actually have a
stacked.
decent offense. It's not as barren as I thought. And Kelvin Benjamin's overrated.
I don't like it.
I think people made too big a deal about him getting traded.
I think he was just a big. See, I think I'm not a huge fan of the big guys. I think they kind of don't have a lot of the talent.
Well, the only people that are, like Mike Evans is fast and big.
No, but he's got the talent.
He's fast.
Too. He's got the talent
He's not.
too.
He's not big and slow.
And he's got the talent. He can cut. He
And AJ Green, he's
Makes good
6'4"
routes.
and he's fast. Julio Jones is 6'5" and he's fast. That's why they're.
Benjamin was just a big body. That's
Yeah,
all the
he's just-
vibe I got.
exactly.
It's just throw it to a big target, and he's not the skilled guy. He's just gonna be there and maybe make a grab, like an NFL, like an NBA type grab kind of thing. He's He's a big guy.
But I mean, we covered the top 16. Obviously, there's 32 quarterbacks to cover. So
we're gonna go through.
we've
that.
done through the first 3 tiers, and if you want the next bottom half, then
We'll do another podcast.
We'll cover that.
This is early stuff, so and then we're gonna do this for other.
we're gonna have
rankings.
running backs, receivers, tight ends, kickers, and defense.
Kickers, definitely, man. This is okay. We
Greg
do all
Zerline,
kickers.
Greg
leagues.
Alleg will be number 1 on my list.
Well, we do one league that's all kickers. It's a kickers league.
Yeah,
So you get to pick your 5 kickers, and then you go against each other.
that would be interesting, but we're not
That'd be
doing that.
kinda Subscribe to our kickers league.
Yeah,
All right, guys.
unsubscribe to our.
Unsubscribe to our newsletter. Subscribe.
Get
to
the
our
first one
Kickers
free.
League. Yeah, so you guys can subscribe. Go to fantasysportshelp.com and you can subscribe for it's only $1.99 a month, but
And on Twitter, you can find us at FSH Sports.
yep, right there. And we have some affiliate people that are connected with us, and we'll be giving out those.
We're getting more
as we
into
go.
it as football approaches, but
Yeah, right now we just
right now
want to get
we are
jump
covering
start.
baseball. So if you want help on baseball, do visit our site for that. So,
Yeah, we want to make this podcast valuable for all sports. So,
but right now the focus is baseball.
yeah, it's baseball. Yeah, it's baseball.
Baseball.
Football's coming, guys.
Baseball.